Today we have a match between Mamoswine EX, piloted by John, versus myself playing the new Tyranitar item lock deck. I start and pass with just a Dusknoir. On John's turn, he's going to think about playing Ultra Ball before attaching TM Evolution and a Fighting Energy and then filling up his bench with Swinub and Torchic. He then does decide to play the Ultra Ball, getting another basic Pokemon, choosing to bench another Swinub. He then is going to use the Evolution attack, choosing Swinub and Torchic to evolve from the deck. When he goes into his deck, he realizes he doesn't have Combuskin and he didn't prize check when he played the Ultra Ball, so he's going to have to settle for just the Piloswine. On my turn, I start with Arven finding Buddy Buddy Poffin and Counter Gain. I'm going to play the Buddy Buddy Poffin to get a Larvitar and a Badoo into play. I then have the Grand Tree to be able to fully evolve my Duskull into Dusknoir. I'm going to use its Curse Blast ability to knock out his Piloswine and promote Badoo. We both take one prize card and then I use Itchy Pollen and pass the turn. On his turn, he attaches a Fighting Energy to a Swinub and then retreats the Torchic. He uses Call for Family to get Pidgey and Swinub. I think he overlooked the Grand Tree being able to evolve his Pokemon. On my turn, I use the Grand Tree to fully evolve my Larvitar into a Tyranitar. I then attach the Darkness Energy to the Tyranitar and use Itchy Pollen for 20 damage due to Swinub weakness. On John's turn, he's going to use the Grand Tree to get into Pidgeot EX. He then searches Rare Candy with the Quick Search before realizing he was item locked and couldn't evolve into the Mamoswine EX. And with that, he's going to be forced to just attack with the Swinub, doing 10 damage to the Badoo before passing his turn. On my turn, I play Brock Scouting to get 2 basics. I'm going to go with 2 Duskull. I then retreat the Badoo into the Tyranitar to be able to use its Cracking Stomp attack to do 150 damage and knock out the Swinub, also discarding the top 2 cards of John's deck. He promotes the Torchic and then uses Quick Search. He's going to be able to use Boss's Orders to move the Tyranitar so that he's not item locked. Then he uses Rare Candy to get Mamoswine and plays Nest Ball for Pheasantipity EX, being able to use its Flip the Script ability to draw 3 cards. He then plays Earthen Vessel, discarding a Buddy Buddy Poffin to find 2 Fighting Energy. He's going to attach one to Mamoswine, but he doesn't have a way to switch. He attaches Big Air Balloon to Mamoswine and passes the turn. On my turn, I evolve into Dusclops, being able to use its Curse Blast ability to knock out the Torchic. I then promote the Tyranitar and bench a Dunsparce, and then play Buddy Buddy Poffin for another Dunsparce and another Larvitar. I then use the Cracking Stomp attack to do 150 to the Pidgeot and discard the top 2 cards of his deck. Then on his turn, he's going to use the Pidgeot EX to use Quick Search before playing Jack to be able to search 2 evolution Pokemon. He's going to search out Blaziken EX and no other Pokemon. He then uses the Mamoswine ability to search Pidgey and benches it. He then's going to attach a Fighting Energy to the Mamoswine and retreat before benching a Klinklang and knocking out the Tyranitar with the Mamoswine attack. I promote the Badoo, then use the Grand Tree ability to evolve the Dunsparce into the Dunsparce to be able to have access to its Runaway and Draw ability, allowing me to draw 3 cards and then shuffle it into the deck. I play Arven, finding a Rare Candy and a Luxurious Cape. The Luxurious Cape gives 100 HP to a non-rule box Pokemon, but causes it to give up an extra prize card. I then use Rare Candy to put Dusknoir in play and use the Curse Blast ability. I make a mistake here and put the 130 damage on the Mamoswine instead of knocking out the Pidgeot with it. My math was incorrect for being able to knock out the Mamoswine with an attack later. I then use the runaway draw ability to draw 3 cards. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way for me to knock out the Mamoswine, but the Dusknoir EX's attack that does 60 for each EX in play will not be enough since it'll only do 180. With the 130 from the Dusknoir, this still will not be enough to knock out Mamoswine with its 340 HP. I'm then going to play Ultra Ball, discarding Binding Mochi and Countercatcher to be able to find Fezandipity, and hoping that Flip the Script will help me find some cards out of this situation. But with those 3 cards drawn, I find a Pupitar to evolve my Larvitar, but nothing to change my situation. I'm going to play Countercatcher to try to trap the Klinklang in the active with its 3 retreat cost. I use Itchy Pollen, but because of resistance it does no damage, it just item locks John. On John's turn, he's going to try to find a way out of the situation without items. I think he finds a pretty cool play being able to use the quick search to get Iono, and then play the Iono putting his hand on bottom of the deck. This is going to allow him to use the Grand Tree to get into Blaziken EX because Combusken and Blaziken were both in his hand. Attaching the turn to the Klinklang and then using the Blaziken ability gets the second energy needed, which its attack does 130 for 2 energy but discards both energy. He knocks out the Badoo, going down to 1 prize card. I promote Pupitar, and then use the Grand Tree before John reminds me that it can only evolve basic Pokemon, so I'm not able to evolve it since it's already the Pupitar Stage 1. I bench the Dunsparce and attach Reversal and do 60 damage to the Klinklang before passing the turn. I remind John that the Klinklang has to discard energy, but he has energy to win the game.
And what it kind of won me was I saw that I played Iono, and I had Combusken and Blaziken in my hand, so I ENO'd those so I could Grand Tree.
With John taking game 1, I'm going to make him go first in game 2. He's going to start with Ultra Ball, discarding a Pidgey and a Boss's Orders to find a Swinub to bench. He's going to attach Fighting Energy to it and pass the turn. On my turn, I'm going to start with Arven. I'm going to take some time to check the prizes and then get Buddy Buddy Poffin and counter gain. I play the Buddy Buddy Poffin, getting a Larvitar and a Dunsparce. I have another Buddy Buddy Poffin in the hand to play and get another Larvitar and another Duskull. I attach Darkness Energy to the Larvitar and then pass the turn. On John's turn, he plays the Iono to reset our hands with us both drawing 6 new cards. He's going to bench Torchic and then play the Ultra Ball, discarding Jack and Piloswine to find another Swinub. He's committed a lot of resources playing these Ultra Balls to get basics down. He then evolves into Piloswine and passes the turn. I use the Dunsparce to draw 3 cards and then shuffle it back into the deck. I'm thinking about playing the Arven here to be able to get Rare Candy and knock out the Piloswine. I play the Arven and get Rare Candy and counter gain, and then use the Rare Candy to get out Dusknoir. Then the Curse Blast ability to knock out Piloswine with us both taking a prize card. I promote the Larvitar without energy, evolve the bench Duskull into Dusclops, then pass the turn. On John's turn, he starts with Jack, allowing him to find 2 evolution Pokemon. He's going to get Mamoswine and Luxray. He tries to play the Luxray before realizing he's not behind on prizes, and then use Earthen Vessel, discarding the Luxray to get 2 fighting energy. He then plays Buddy Buddy Poffin to get a Swinub and another Torchic. He attaches a fighting energy to one of the Swinubs and passes turn. On my turn, I start with Arven. Finding an Ultra Ball and binding Mochi. I use the Ultra Ball, discarding Larvitar and the binding Mochi to get Dusknoir and evolve the Dusclops. I'm then going to use it to knock out the Pidgey so he won't be able to go into Pidgeot anytime soon. I then bench Badoo and attach to Larvitar and retreat, and then item lock him with the Badoo's Itchy Pollen. On his turn, he's going to attach the second energy to the Swinub and pass the turn. I then play Colress's Tenacity, which will allow me to search the Grand Tree and a Darkness Energy. I'm not going to put the Grand Tree in play because it'll allow John to evolve all of his Pokemon too. I then keep hitting him with Itchy Pollen. He tries to play Nest Ball, but he's item locked. He has to pass the turn. I just go Itchy Pollen again. He then has a Fire Energy on the Torchic, but it needs 2 energy to attack. I'm going to continue just using Itchy Pollen. He finds Iono to reset our hands again. We both draw 4 cards. I'm going to attach a Darkness Energy to the other Larvitar, and then play Arven after benching a Dunsparce. I get another Buddy Poffin and play it, and Counter Gain as a tool. That gets me another Dunsparce and a Duskull. And then I hit with Itchy Pollen. On his turn, he's unable to do anything, so he passes back to me. The Badoo then knocks out the Torchic with Itchy Pollen. He promotes the other Torchic and attacks a fighting energy to it before passing. I use the Dunsparce's ability to draw 3 cards. I then evolve into a Pupitar and play Ultra Ball to find the Dunsparce again and evolve the other Dunsparce. I'm going to use its Runaway and Draw ability to draw 3 cards and shuffle it back into the deck. I play Buddy Poffin to get 2 more of the Dunsparce back in place. I then use Itchy Pollen to keep him under item lock. He draws Rare Candy for turn and can't play it because of the item lock. On my turn, I evolve into the Tyranitar and then decide to start playing a little more aggressively. I boss up his Swinub that has energy and retreat into Tyranitar, and then use its attack to knock out the Swinub and discard the top 2 cards of his deck. He promotes the Torchic and then plays Arven. He's going to find Rare Candy and Big Air Balloon off of the Arven. He then is going to pass his turn. On my turn, I use the Tyranitar to knock out the Torchic. This leaves him with only Swinub and he concedes. In Game 3, he's going to make me go first, and I start with only Larvitar and Duskull and pass the turn. On John's turn, he's going to play Buddy Poffin to get a Swinub and a Pidgey. He then plays Artisan to find another basic, benching the second Swinub. He benches a Torchic from his hand and then passes the turn. On my turn, I bench a Larvitar from hand and then play Artisan to search a basic. I get a Badoo and then play Arven to get Earthen Vessel and Binding Mochi. Playing the Earthen Vessel, discarding the Binding Mochi to get 2 Darkness Energy. I'm going to attach 1 to Larvitar to be able to retreat it and evolve Dusclops. And then Itchy Pollen to item lock John again. John tries to play the Ultra Ball, but he's under item lock. He then uses Artisan but fails it. On my turn, I play Buddy Poffin to get a Duskull and a Dunsparce. And then use Itchy Pollen again. I then use Itchy Pollen again, and he is still under item lock. John's pretty sick of item lock at this point. On my turn, I use Ultra Ball, discarding Reversal and Luxurious Cape to use Runaway Draw of the Dunsparce. I then play Arven, finding Counter Gain and Counter Catcher, and use Artisan to bench Dunsparce. I then use the Dusclops to put 50 on the Pidgey, and use counter catcher to be able to bring it up and knock it out with the Badoo. John promotes Torchic and then benches Pheasantipity and uses Flip the Script to draw 3 cards. And passes the turn. I then bench a Dusknoir from hand and play Arven. I'm going to find Rare Candy and no tool card. Attach a Darkness Energy to Larvitar so it now has 2. And then use Itchy Pollen. John asks for help to see if we can find a play that's possible while he's under item lock. He doesn't have a lot available to him, so we're just going to attach a Fighting Energy to the Swinub and then play Iono, resetting both our hands. We're both going to draw 5 cards. He passes the turn. On my turn, I'm going to use Brock Scouting to find an evolution Pokemon, getting the Dunsparce, which will allow me to draw 3 cards. I draw 3 cards and then I use the Artisan to put the Dunsparce back into play. I then evolve into a Dusclops and play Ultra Ball to get Pupitar and evolve my benched Larvitar that has energy. And then go for Itchy Pollen again. John now evolves into Mamoswine and attaches energy and passes the turn. On my turn, I'm going to play Arven, getting another Rare Candy and no tool card. I use Rare Candy to get Dusknoir into play and then use it to put 130 damage on the Mamoswine. And then go Itchy Pollen. John attaches Reversal Energy to be able to retreat the Torchic and promotes the Mamoswine. He's then going to use its ability to add any Pokemon from his deck to his hand. He gets Combusken to be able to evolve his bench Torchic. He puts it on the Torchic that has damage. He then knocks out the Badoo with the Mamoswine attack, and I promote Dusknoir. I use Artisan here to find another copy of Badoo. I think for a little bit, and then I'm going to use the Curse Blast to put 50 damage on the Combusken. This will allow me to use Counter Catcher and bring it up and knock the Combusken out with Itchy Pollen, after benching a Blood Moon Ursaluna. John promotes the Mamoswine. He's at 2 prizes and I'm at 4. He then tries to evolve into Blaziken before I remind him I knocked out the Combusken. He uses the Mamoswine ability to search for a Pokemon. He's going to add a Mamoswine to his hand. He uses the Mamoswine to knock out the Badoo, and I promote the Blood Moon Ursaluna. I use Artisan to get another Dunsparce on the bench, and then use Blood Moon to knock out the Mamoswine, taking me down to 2 prizes to John's 1 prize. On his turn, he uses Ultra Ball, discarding TM Evolution and Nest Ball to search a Piloswine. He evolves his bench Swinub, and then benches a Pidgey. He uses Flip the Script to draw 3 cards, and plays Ultra Ball. He's going to take a little time to see if he can find anything to help him before grabbing a Swinub and benching it. He then plays Arven to find an item and a tool card. He's going to get Switch and no tool card. He plays Earthen Vessel, discarding a Pidgeotto to get 2 fighting energy. He attaches a fighting to the Piloswine and passes the turn. On my turn, the Ursaluna can't use Blood Moon again, so right now I'm going to play Iono, putting John on 1 card and myself to 2 cards. I then pass the turn, and on John's turn, he draws passes. On my turn, I put the Dunsparce into play before playing Iono again. I then use the Dunsparce to draw 3 more cards, and then shuffle it into the deck using the Artisan to get the Dunsparce back out. I use Rare Candy and put Tyranitar into play and attach a Reversal Energy. I don't have a way to switch to Blood Moon, and I don't want to take one prize with it, so I pass the turn. Then when John passes back to me, I have the boss's order on the Pheasantipede to finish the game.